Forget nice and naughty lists. Buckle up, believers, because we're diving into the nitty-gritty of what really gets on God's good side. From toxic habits that tear us down to choices that pollute the world we were entrusted with, we're unveiling 20 behaviors that might just land you in the divine doghouse. So are you ready to confront the dark side of your soul and see if your daily routine aligns with the divine plan? Let's get real, let's get honest, and let's explore the 20 habits that God hates a lot. Number 1, violence and hatred. The message of God, which is shared by a variety of religions, is one of love and peace. This fundamental premise is immediately contradicted by the world of pain that is created by acts of violence and hatred, whether they be physical or emotional in nature. Just for a moment, try to picture a society in which differences are resolved via civil conversation and where understanding takes the place of aggressiveness. This is consistent with the principles of compassion and forgiveness that can be found in a variety of religions. The use of violence results in the infliction of suffering and adversity upon other people, which in turn causes a domino effect of negative emotions. The presence of hatred, even when it is kept hidden, generates a negative energy within us. Because of this darkness, we are separated from the divine light and the innate kindness that is present in the surrounding universe. If you choose to engage in acts of violence and hatred, you are making a decision to contribute to a society that is very different from the world that many religions picture as being peaceful and loving. Number 2, dishonesty and lying. From the perspective of many different religions, honesty and truthfulness are considered to be essential components of a relationship with God. Not only can dishonesty and lying undermine trust between individuals, but they also undermine trust between ourselves and some higher power. Just for a moment, try to picture a world in which trust is widespread and communication is both open and honest. This is consistent with the concept of leading a life of integrity and adhering to the teachings that are presented by a variety of religious traditions. Having integrity and laying the groundwork for true connection are both accomplished via the act of being truthful. We allow ourselves to be open to the prospect of cultivating stronger relationships and a more profound understanding. In the moment that we make the decision to be dishonest, we establish a barrier between ourselves and the divine truth. The presence of this barrier hinders us from experiencing the full depth of our relationship with the divine, as well as the sense of calm that comes with living a genuine life. Number 3, stealing and cheating. The principles of equity and justice are deeply ingrained in the doctrines of a great number of world faiths. Infringing upon these values by stealing and cheating, we are taking something that is not legitimately ours. Think about a future in which everyone has access to the things they require and where the worth of hard effort is recognized. In accordance with the teachings of charity and aiding others, this is appropriate. Whenever we steal or cheat, we not only cause pain to the person from whom we take, but we also contribute to the feeling that the world is out of balance. The holy force that flows via fairness and justice can become increasingly distant from us as a result of this imbalance. Stealing and cheating are both examples of greed, which can be defined as the desire to get something that is not rightfully ours. This greed has the potential to distort our judgment and lead us down a path that is far different from the one that many faiths wish for us to go. Number 4, pride and arrogance. Many different religions place a strong emphasis on the virtue of humility. A modest assessment of one's own importance and an acknowledgement of something that is more significant than oneself are both represented by this. On the other side, pride and arrogance are associated with an increase in one's sense of self-importance and a sense of superiority over other people. Imagining a world in which everyone contributes their skills and capabilities without seeking recognition or boasting about them is a desirable goal. Therefore, this is consistent with the principles of respecting others and providing service to others. Both pride and arrogance have the potential to produce a barrier that separates us from the divine. When we hold the mindset that we are superior to other people or that we know everything, we prevent ourselves from gaining knowledge and developing as individuals. As a result of the fact that arrogance drives people away, these characteristics can also result in a feeling of isolation. When we make the decision to be humble, we make room in our hearts for connection, learning, and the possibility of encountering the divine that is present in each and every one of us. Number 5, greed and selfishness. A number of religions place a strong emphasis on the significance of being of service to others and assisting those in need. Selfishness and greed, on the other hand, are characterized by an exclusive concentration on oneself and the accumulation of material belongings. Think about a society in which people freely share their resources with one another and collaborate for the benefit of the community. This is consistent with the principles of compassion and charity that can be found in a variety of religions. The feelings of emptiness that we experience might be brought on by greed and selfishness. The relentless chase of more never fully satisfies, and it can cause us to disregard the need of other people as well as the spiritual parts of life. Additionally, these behaviors have the potential to separate us from the divine energy of love and abundance that is derived from acts of generosity and sharing. As a result of our decision to be generous and compassionate, we are able to feel the joy of giving and connect with something that is more significant than ourselves. Number 6. Idolatry. The concept of God in many religions represents a higher power, a source of love, and the ultimate reality. A greater power, a source of love, and the ultimate reality are all that are represented by the notion of God in a number of different religions. Worshipping anything other than God, such as material belongings, power, or even oneself, is an example of idolatry. Idolatry is a term that is used to describe idolatry. Envision a world in which every individual is committed to serving a greater purpose and leading a life that is in harmony with their spiritual beliefs and principles. The teachings of dedication and living one's life in accordance with one's religion are consistent with this perspective. By diverting our attention away from the divine and leading us to invest our faith in things that are ultimately ephemeral, idolatry has the potential to become a destructive distraction. We lose the potential to connect with the more profound meaning and purpose that many religions provide when we are preoccupied with the things of this world or with our own sense of importance. A connection with something that is beyond the confines of the material world can be made when we make the decision to devote ourselves to a higher force. Number 7. Sexual immorality. Sexuality is seen as a sacred component of human existence in a number of different religions. It is important to note that the meaning of sexual immorality might differ from one faith to another. In most cases, it is a reference to sexual activity that occurs outside of marriage or partnerships and also goes against the precepts of a certain religion. Imagine living in a society where the foundation of intimacy is based on mutual respect, commitment, and shared beliefs. This is consistent with the principles of affection, faithfulness, and responsible reproduction that can be found in a variety of religions. The presence of sexual immorality can give rise to feelings of discord and disdain within the context of partnerships. Further, it may result in unintended births or the transmission of sexually transmitted illnesses, both of which are undesirable outcomes. By making the decision to express their sexuality in a manner that is congruent with their religious beliefs, individuals have the potential to enjoy a more profound feeling of connection, closeness, and fulfillment. Number 8. Drunkenness and addiction. There are a number of religions that place an emphasis on the significance of exercising self-control and leading a moderate lifestyle. On the other side, drunkenness and addiction impair judgment and can lead to unhealthy behavior towards oneself and others. Both of these conditions are associated with drinking. Take into consideration a future in which people rejoice in a responsible manner and use substances in a manner that enriches life rather than undermines it. In many religions, the body is considered a temple for the spirit, and this is consistent with the teachings of self-control and taking care of one's body. The presence of a barrier between ourselves and the divine might be created by intoxication and addiction. Substances have the ability to obscure our thinking, making it more difficult to connect with our spiritual center and to make choices that are obvious. This can further alienate us from the well-being that is promoted by many religions, as these practices can also contribute to a decline in both our bodily and mental health. By making the conscious decision to exercise moderation and cultivate self-awareness, we give ourselves the opportunity to establish a more direct relationship with the divine and to live a life that is respectful of both our physical and spiritual selves. Number 9. Gossip and slander. The virtues of kindness and compassion are central to a number of different religions. Slander and gossip, on the other hand, are known to disseminate negative information about other people and may be detrimental to both relationships and reputations. Imagine a world in which people inspire and encourage one another, encouraging and supporting one another, and building each other up rather than tearing each other down. In accordance with the principles of love, respect, and the development of a constructive community, this is suitable. We can be separated from the divine inner UI of love and compassion when we engage in gossip and slander, which can create an environment that is inherently toxic. It is also possible for these practices to cause us to experience feelings of guilt and shame within ourselves. We are able to contribute to a world that is more peaceful and supportive by choosing to communicate in a positive manner and practice kindness. This reflects the love that is promoted by many different religions. Number 10, holding grudges and unforgiveness. Forgiveness is a significant idea that is emphasized in a variety of religious traditions. Through this process, we are able to let go of resentment and hate towards those who have harmed us, which ultimately leads to healing and inner peace. We are unable to escape the vicious cycle of negativity if we continue to harbor resentment and refuse to forgive. Imagine a world in which people forgive one another, thereby allowing old wounds to heal and paving the way for fresh starts to develop at the same time. This is consistent with the teachings of compassion and mercy, as well as the doctrine of letting go of negativity. It is possible for us to generate a heavy burden within ourselves by harboring grudges, which might slow us down and prevent us from moving away from the situation. In addition, withholding forgiveness can make it more difficult for us to establish a connection with the divine energy of love and mercy. We free ourselves from the shackles of negativity and make room for the potential of healing and inner peace, both of which are traits that are highly prized by a number of different religions. Number 11, breaking promises and commitments. For many different religions, trustworthiness is a fundamental principle. A person who is able to keep their word and fulfill their promises is said to possess this quality. On the other hand, breaking pledges and commitments is a way to undermine confidence and bring about a feeling of unreliability. Imagine living in a world where individuals always keep their word and cultivate relationships that are built on trust and reliability. Keeping one's integrity, being honest, and leading a moral life are all taught in this way. In addition to causing harm to our relationships with other people, breaking promises can also give us a feeling of dishonesty within. Our capacity to connect with the divine can be hindered as a result of the sentiments of guilt and shame that can result from it. We generate trust, improve relationships, and display the integrity that is prized by a number of religions when we make the conscious decision to be trustworthy and when we keep our word. Number 12, disrespecting parents and authority figures. Many religions hold that respect for people who are in positions of power is one of their fundamental principles. Parents, elders, instructors, and those in positions of authority are all important people to show respect to. The social order is disrupted and a sense of disobedience is created when young people disrespect their parents and other authorities. Imagine a world in which people appreciate the direction and wisdom of those who have more experience, and where respect is the norm. The teachings that one should respect elders, honor one's parents, and adhere to the established social order are all in agreement with this. There is a sense of disharmony that can be created when disrespect is shown to others. Additionally, it might result in sentiments of defiance and a disconnection from the principles that are championed by a variety of religious traditions. We make a contribution to a society that is more orderly and peaceful when we make the decision to show respect for those in positions of power. This example demonstrates how important it is to respect the roles that have been established within it. Number 13, disobeying religious laws and teachings. Many religions have established guidelines and teachings that followers are encouraged to follow. These guidelines can provide a moral compass and a framework for living a meaningful life. Disobeying religious laws and teachings can be seen as a form of rebellion against the divine or a disregard for the spiritual path laid out by the religion. Imagine a world where people live according to their faith, striving to follow the teachings that bring them closer to the divine. This aligns with the core principles of most religions, which guide individuals towards spiritual growth and enlightenment. Disobeying religious laws and teachings can create a sense of guilt, shame, or disconnection from one's faith. However, it's important to remember that many religions emphasize forgiveness and the opportunity to return to the path. By choosing to follow the teachings of one's religion, individuals can experience a deeper connection to the divine and live a life that aligns with their spiritual beliefs. Number 14, ignoring the poor and needy. Helping those less fortunate is a key tenet of many religions. It signifies compassion, generosity, and a sense of responsibility towards our fellow human beings. Ignoring the poor and needy, on the other hand, turns a blind eye to suffering and creates a sense of indifference. Imagine a world where people share their resources and work together to alleviate poverty and suffering. This aligns with the teachings of charity, social justice, and helping those in need. Ignoring the poor and needy can create a sense of selfishness within ourselves and contribute to a world of inequality. It can also distance us from the divine energy of compassion and love that flows through acts of service. By choosing to help those less fortunate, we connect with something larger than ourselves and experience the joy of giving, a core principle of many religions. Number 15, polluting the earth. Caring for the environment can be seen as honoring God's creation in many religions. The earth is often viewed as a gift from the divine, entrusted to humanity for stewardship. Polluting the earth through actions like littering, deforestation, or unsustainable consumption disrespects this gift and damages the delicate balance of the natural world. Imagine a world where people live in harmony with nature, using resources wisely and preserving the beauty and bounty of the earth. This aligns with the teachings of environmental responsibility and living a sustainable life. Polluting the earth has negative consequences for all living beings, including ourselves. It can also create a sense of disconnection from the divine and the interconnectedness of all things. By choosing to be environmentally responsible, we honor God's creation, ensure a healthy planet for future generations, and reflect the values of sustainability promoted by many religions. Number 16, following false idols. The necessity of prioritizing spiritual qualities over material pursuits is emphasized by a diversity of religious traditions. Putting things like wealth, fame, or material belongings ahead of spiritual principles is what is meant by the term following false idols. This can result in a life that is driven by aspirations that, in the end, do not bring about a contentment that is long-lasting. Imagine people living in a society where love, compassion, and service to others are the most important things in the world. The teachings that emphasize concentrating on one's spiritual essence and living a life that is in harmony with one's beliefs are consistent with this. In the process of pursuing fictitious idols, we run the risk of losing sight of what is genuinely important. There is a possibility that this desire could result in feelings of emptiness and unhappiness, which will inhibit our capacity to connect with the divine. We are able to discover a more profound feeling of purpose and meaning in life when we make the decision to prioritize spiritual values. This brings us into alignment with the fundamental teachings of a variety of religions. Number 17, leading others astray. A great number of religions place a strong emphasis on the significance of leading a moral life and making a good example for other people. On the other hand, leading other people astray urges them to engage in unethical behavior or to act in a manner that goes against their conscience. The direct encouragement of others, the setting of a terrible example, or the promotion of negativity are all ways to accomplish this. Imagine living in a world where individuals are always there to encourage and support one another, thereby fostering healthy choices in spiritual development. This coincides with the teachings of compassion, which emphasize the need of setting a good example and encouraging pleasant interactions with others. In addition to contributing to a world filled with negativity, leading other people wrong can give rise to feelings of guilt. At the same time, it has the potential to separate us from the divine energy of love and support. We make a contribution to a world that is more moral and compassionate when we make the conscious decision to have a positive influence on those around us. This is a reflection of the principles that are promoted by a variety of religions. Number 18, hardening your heart. Forgiveness and an openness to the love of God are fundamental teachings in a variety of religious traditions. A person who hardens their heart, on the other hand, is someone who chooses to shut themselves off from the love and forgiveness of God. This might present itself in a variety of ways, including harboring resentment, refusing to apologize, or denying the potential of spiritual development. Imagine a world in which people are willing to forgive one another, fostering the healing of previous wounds and paving the way for fresh starts to develop. This is consistent with the teachings with regard to love, mercy, and accepting the favor of God. A heart that has become hardened might give rise to feelings of alienation and resentment. Additionally, it can make it more difficult for us to establish a connection with the divine and to experience the love and forgiveness that are offered by a variety of religions. We are able to discover inner peace, forgiveness, and a more profound relationship with the divine when we make the conscious decision to soften our hearts and open ourselves up to the love of God. Number 19. Despair and giving up hope. Trusting in a higher power, especially when things are challenging, is an essential component of faith in many different religions. On the other hand, giving up hope and falling into a state of despair causes us to become disconnected from this source of strength and result in a feeling of hopelessness. Imagine living in a society where people are able to face obstacles with bravery and resilience, even when they are in the dark, because they are aware that there is always the prospect of light. This is consistent with the teachings of perseverance, trusting in the plan that God has for us and finding strength in what we believe. Desperation has the potential to render us helpless and prohibit us from taking any steps to change our circumstances. In addition to this, it has the potential to make us feel isolated and to further separate us from the divine spirit of hope and optimism. We are able to tap into a powerful force that enables us to persevere and find our way through problems when we make the conscious decision to maintain our hope, even while dealing with challenging circumstances. Number 20. Lovelessness and indifference. For the majority of religions, love and compassion are fundamental principles. The absence of love and apathy, on the other hand, results in a world that is devoid of warmth and connection. Imagine a society in which people are nice to one another and respect one another, hence generating a sense of community and belonging among the Earth's inhabitants. This is consistent with the teachings consisting of loving one's neighbor, cultivating compassion, and leading a life that is dedicated to serving other people. Lacking love in one's life can be a lonely and alienating situation for the individual. Additionally, it has the potential to produce a feeling of emptiness and to disengage us from the divine energy of love that is sent via acts of compassion and kindness. We are able to not only improve the lives of other people, but also establish a connection with something that is more significant than ourselves. This is a reflection of the fundamental principles that are upheld by a number of different religions. Outro. Which of these habits do you find yourself doing often? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, not forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more thrilling videos like this.